You prayed for the opportunity. You prayed for the increase. You prayed for God to open doors in your life. You stayed faithful when it was hard. And then it happened. The door opened, the pressure lifted, things started working. And for a moment, it felt like exactly what God promised. But somewhere after that, something shifted, quietly, without announcement. Not a disaster, not a crisis, just a slow, almost invisible drift. And the dangerous part, you didn't feel it happening. This is what no one talks about after the blessing arrives. Welcome to Practical Bible, where you don't just know the truth, but learn to actually live it. Deuteronomy 8 says something striking. God warned Israel before they entered the promised land, not after a failure, but before the blessing. He said, "Don't forget me when your herds multiply, when your houses are full, when everything you worked for is finally in your hands." He knew what comfort does to dependence. Blessing doesn't destroy people suddenly. It dismantles them slowly. Here's how. The first thing is pride that arrives wearing confidence. It doesn't feel like arrogance. It feels like finally knowing who you are. You stop asking for help as often. You start trusting your own read on situations. Proverbs 16:18 says, "Pride goes before destruction, but it rarely looks like pride at first. It looks like momentum." The second is forgetting the discipline that carried you here. You prayed every morning when you needed something. Now mornings feel optional. The fast, the consistency, the quiet time, it slowly becomes occasional. Deuteronomy 8:14 warns, "When your heart is lifted up, you forget the Lord your God." Comfort doesn't announce when it starts replacing hunger. You just notice one day that you're full of everything except Him. The third is letting the wrong people in. Blessing brings attention. Some of it is genuine, but not everyone who shows up after the door opens belongs inside it. Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians 15:33, "Bad company corrupts good character." You can be spiritually strong and slowly weakened by access. The wrong relationships don't always look wrong immediately. They feel comfortable, familiar, even useful. The fourth is living for how it looks. The more visible your life becomes, the easier it is to start managing perception. You post, you perform, you need the response. Galatians 1:10 asks a hard question. Are you trying to please people or God? Because you cannot do both once they start pulling in different directions. And they always eventually do. What you need validated will control what you decide. The fifth is the one people see last. Spiritual dryness behind an outward life that looks fine. You're still attending, still using the language, still appearing grounded. But privately, the inner life is quiet in the wrong way. Mark 8:36 says it plainly, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?" Some people don't lose their soul in one moment. They lose it slowly, while life is actually going well. This week, do one thing. Go back to something you stopped doing when the blessing arrived. One habit, one discipline. One prayer you used to pray when you needed God and knew it. The version of you that stayed humble, hungry, and dependent, that version didn't outlive its purpose. You still need it. Blessing doesn't protect you from drift, only staying grounded does. James 1:17 says, "Every good gift comes from above." That means what you've been given belongs to God first and must be held with open hands. If this reached something in you today, pause and type, "Lord, keep me grounded," in the comments as a declaration. Subscribe to Practical Bible. This is where you become a practical believer who doesn't just know the truth, but lives it. Share this with someone who just stepped into a new season. They may need this more than you know. Blessing reveals what's already inside you. Make sure what's inside can hold the weight of what God is building.